Hello everyone, how y'all doing? All right. It's been a while since I've been posting videos, but I'm a projector, and my friend just sent me something yesterday about projectors and human designs, and it said that we need to focus more about quality of the work that we put out and not the quantity. And then just life be life and sometimes the flow or the inspiration is not really there to create a video, but today it is. So I'm finishing my part 2 of the planets and astrology and what do they mean. We're gonna jump right into it. I have my lovely flashcards, I have notes, and we're starting with Jupiter, the outer planets in astrology. What do the outer planets mean in astrology? Jupiter represents how do you expand and how do you grow. Jupiter is 300 times bigger than the sun, and I think maybe even larger than that. It is the biggest planet in our galaxy, the most expansive planet. So Jupiter in our natal chart represents our wealth, our fortune, our good luck, our abundance. It represents how do we expand and how do we grow. So where Jupiter is placed in your chart can show you where you expand and grow. It also can show you where do you exaggerate the most. So somebody who has Jupiter in Taurus or Cancer, maybe somebody who really loves food and the comforts of the home and the luxury that comes with that. So if you have Jupiter in Cancer or Taurus, you may exaggerate when it comes to luxury items, when it comes to your home life, or when it comes to food and the kinds of foods that you eat, or even just talking about the quality of foods. Like a Jupiter and Taurus person would say, oh my gosh, this tastes better than sex, like that exaggeration. But to them, they might really believe it because Jupiter represents your beliefs as well. It represents your faith. What are your beliefs? Hold on. What are you optimistic about? What drives your optimism? This can be spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs. This can be, being optimistic about your future, or I have Jupiter in the 9th house, so being optimistic about travel and expanding my knowledge and education. So it all depends where Jupiter falls in your chart. But ultimately, Jupiter is the planet that shows us how the universe gifts and support us. So this represents the support, the abundance, the help that we get from the universe and from our angels and all these otherworldly beings, because Jupiter is traditionally ruling over Pisces and not just Sagittarius. So it does have that ethereal, otherworldly quality, but I'm not gonna get too much into that. So continuing on, we're moving right into Saturn. Saturn is technically, Jupiter and Saturn sometimes can be counted as inner planets, and Saturn would be that bridge before we get to the rest of the outer planets. But for the purposes of this video, we're counting Jupiter and Saturn as outer planets. Saturn represents how you grow and how you mature. Saturn represents structure, discipline, boundaries. It rules over hard lessons. So Saturn is hard luck, where Jupiter would be good luck. Saturn makes you work for the support of the universe. It makes you work for your rewards. So this is, again, structure, discipline, boundaries. Saturn represents our life lessons, responsibility. This is authority. Who is the authority figure in your life? Your Saturn placement can point that out to you. It can show you responsibility. So where do you need to take up more responsibility for yourself? Saturn is the timekeeper. We've all heard the phrase father time, but Saturn actually rules over the sign Capricorn, which is feminine in nature. So Saturn is really mother time, and when we get into the metaphysics of it all, women are the timekeepers because we have a menstrual cycle that literally keeps time with the moon. So Saturn, as the timekeeper, helps us understand our personal cycles of karma and these hard lessons that we continue to loop through over and over and over again until we get it right. Saturn represents what do we need to overcome in order to succeed? What hard lessons do we have to go through in order to acclaim or acquire status, acquire you know, a good standing in society, because Saturn rules over the public persona, our status, our reputation. So what hard lessons do we have to go through in order to have a good reputation or a good status in society? This is all Saturn qualities. Moving on to our next planet, we have Uranus. Uranus is the awakener. Uranus represents personal independence, electricity, innovation. It is lightning, so like lightning fast ideas or things happening unexpectedly, like in a way that's like a flash of lightning. Whenever I think of Uranus, I think of electricity and I think of lightning, because it's just that quick spark, so to awaken you and to enliven you. Uranus represents innovation. This is where or how we rebel. Uranus also represents where or how we may be inventive. How do we create new ideas and bring that to society and bring that to our friends? How do we create new ideas to help society evolve and awaken? This is Uranus. Uranus represents where and how do we reinvent ourselves or the personal systems in our lives. So again, this is personal independence, personal freedom. This can represent our friends and our network groups as well. So Uranus asks the question, how do we stand out? Or where do we stand out? Where your Uranus placement, I have Uranus in the 8th house. So I stand out with my occult information and knowledge. This is how I am unique amongst a group of individuals, but it allows me to bring people together as well. It teaches you, it says, how do you bring society together? That is Uranus. How do you stand out on your own? And then how do you bring society together? So look at your Uranus placement in your chart to ask those questions for yourself. I'm looking at my flashcard. Do I have anything else here? Uranus is advanced thinking. It's alienation, so being separate from others. It rules over technology. So your Uranus placement can show you your relationship with technology, and if working with tech and AI is beneficial for you, or if it comes easier to you than compared to other people. We have Neptune, our second to last outer planet, my lovely flashcard here. Neptune is the planet of dreams and fantasies. Neptune asks the question, how do you escape from reality? Neptune represents our illusions and our visions. It has a strong ethereal quality to it. So it represents magic. It represents glamour. It represents mermaids and fairies and all those otherworldly beings. And typically, because Neptune is more of like, it's the higher octave of Venus. So it's more the angelic beings and just things from higher realms, because we do have other beings from other realms, but they're not necessarily from higher realms. They come from lower realms. But Neptune is talking about those beautiful ethereal qualities in a person or in a person's chart. However, with all the glamour and fantasy, Neptune wants to remind you that all that glitters is not gold. Neptune can also rule over our self-defeating patterns. So where or how do we self-sabotage can be found by our Neptune placement in our chart. Neptune can show us self-undoing. So when we're done with these self-defeating patterns and addictions, because Neptune rules over addictions to alcohol, to drugs, it rules over hospitalization. Neptune rules over like even homelessness. And so when you think about Neptune and the planet Neptune, it's the extreme beauties of life, but it's also the extreme darkness or the extreme loss of self. And so Neptune asks us to where and how do we self-undo? Where do we come apart? Where do we unravel our karma and dissolve ourselves once and for all so that we can re-merge back with the Most High or with the Divine? Neptune asks, how do you connect to the subconscious? It asks, what is your relationship to the Divine? What is your relationship to the universe. So looking at your Neptune placement can help you connect more to those divine qualities and ethereal qualities within yourself. It can help you undo cycles of karma that we've been living for lives and lives and lives. And it can eventually help you to dissolve those karmic cycles and to merge back with God. Neptune rules over unconditional love as well. It's the collective unconscious. So again, dreams, fantasies, illusions. It rules what do you believe? What do you dream? What are your biggest dreams? What are your biggest fantasies? What would you like to see happen for yourself in this reality? You know, go to your Neptune placement to see how you can make your dreams a reality. Moving along to our last outer planet, Pluto, the renewer. Pluto rules over birth, death, and rebirth. It represents irreversible change. Pluto represents our subconscious mind and the dark, hidden, and unseen parts of life. So where Neptune is like that higher, ethereal, magical beauty, fantasy quality of life, Pluto is, it has the same qualities, but it's in those darker realms, the unseen realms, the things that are hidden, the things that are taboo, the things that we don't want other people to see or know about us, the parts of ourselves that we often don't want to see or that we try to repress or stuff away. Pluto represents all of these things. Pluto asks the question, where does your inner power lie? So your Pluto placement can show you, this sounds like a whole big ass tongue twister. Your Pluto placement can show you where does your inner power lie. My Pluto placement is in the 6th house. So my Pluto placement shows that I have gifts and abilities, or my inner power lies within being of service to others. My Pluto, or my inner power, according to my Pluto, shows me that I work well with herbs, and that some of my inner power comes from working with herbs because it's in the 6th house. So you want to look at your Pluto placement to see where does your inner power lie. Pluto asks the question, how do you heal and transform for the better? This is how do you transform or even shatter your ego? This is how do you transform yourself at a soul level. So in order for us to transform ourselves at a soul level, we have to continue to transform the ego and drop identities that we've picked up along the way. Pluto again shows repressed or suppressed parts of ourselves, and it asks the question, how do you face your fears? So this is my video on the outer planets in astrology, what they rule over, what do they mean, the questions that they're asking us in the natal chart. I hope that this provided some insight to you and your chart. Please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. Yeah, I would just definitely love to know who's watching, who's listening, what you guys are interested in seeing, what y'all want to hear me talk about more. This is just something I wanted to put out real quick to help me get the ball back rolling. I'm feeling better than ever, so I'm excited to share more information with you all. Peace.